show coming from the RAC store. With this back in the Mac in the back flow. Let's go, chillin' with raccoons by the back door. Take calls so you can stake more. All I wanna do is making dough, right? But I found this crew and doing alright. We wreck, will bitch, ready to fight. So many raccoons ready for the boss life. I might fly high like a kite, right? But always ready for a shite for the right price. Raccoon supply has the right price. Giving you respect if it's likewise. So I'm buying all the mean guys with the clean heart. Read between lies, laser beam through lean eyes. Warrior with clean lies, trash mouth, mean smile, be wise. NFT wise, fuck with these guys. It's the RAC lab from the back lab. 100 NFTs in my backpack. Crazy RAC lab from the stash app. RAC will take a lead in this haystack. It's the
Good morning, RAC FM. Today's Tuesday, April 4th, 2023. And this is your NFT Roundtable number 6 with 7 calls and a mystery moderator. Let's get into it now. Robo, how you doing?
This is what happens, dude, when plebs come in IBC thinking they know what they're doing, you know?
Oh my gosh. Hey,
Oh.
Robo, I tried to do a little April Fool's prank on you on Saturday. Did you see it or no?
Bro, I didn't. Which one?
Oh, well, I rebranded Signal as like a like RAC FM, but I made it like 101.1 the Signal. And then I like edited the banner, changed Mbito's banner and stuff.
No.
But anyway, but like no one noticed, so. But I was trying to do a little parody.
I was down horrendous on Saturday. Like, I just literally, all I did was just recover all day. That's how bad I was.
You were sick or hungover?
Oh, dude, I was so fucking hungover. It was ridiculous. Like, it was that was on Friday, yeah, and it carried over into Saturday, yeah. Right, here's Bbandz coming in. Bbandz, I'm just going to send this to the group because I know some are still in that other space. Like I say, this is what happens with your plebs like Wabby, you know, for example. Right, Bbandz, are you in? Oh, Finn. What's Finn coming? Oh, here we go. See what Finn's got to say. Right, Bbandz, you in, darling? Yes. Hello, Bbandz. Are we in, darling? Do we have sound?
Sorry, I had to say goodnight to my daughter. It's her bedtime. Well, it's past her bedtime, but she's like, "Mommy, come give me a hug." You know, I gotta love on her. You know.
Yeah, all right, darling. I really appreciate it because this was like last minute. I guess like Joe's kid's bad still, Bbandz, because he just sent a message like.
Wait, okay, so when you were on the spaces, was he joking? Finn, remember when he came on and he was like, "I'm so disgusted with Robo." Was he just like LARPing with us or like, Finn, remember?
Yeah, he's joking because, you know, I said about Bendy going on his show and I said like Bendy had already been on RAC FM already. So I said it's like Bendy going to watch Cocoon after just going through like real life Indiana Jones shit. So I think he was just joking from what I tweeted out. Joe and I talk in the DMs all the time, and he's just been DMing me there. He's only, I think it wasn't his kid like really bad yesterday when he was up at like 6:45 in the morning or something.
Oh, I don't know about that.
But he's just literally said, dude, he said, "I'm devastated, but I'm not going to be able to come." And he didn't say much else. He just said, "Look, I'm really sorry. You know, I love the NFT roundtables as well, and I've been waiting." So he has been, see, because when I got sick before on the second one, that was the one Joe was going to be on, right? So he's been really looking forward for weeks and weeks and weeks to come on, you know. Hello, Finn. I see we're having double spaces, dude. I see they advertised this one yesterday, the plebs. Never mind.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't fuck with this because Bitcoin Spaces. It's a little too Polygon vibes for this guy.
Hey, relax. Listen,
But,
them Bitcoin Spaces and that guy who talks.
Oh yeah,
he's very smart. I'm not talking about the guy who wants it. What's his name? He was just talking and he has the little thing in front of his glasses and he has a YouTube show. God, I can't remember his name.
Yeah, something about YouTubers and shitcoin preachers is kind of like not my thing, but people enjoy it, so that's dope. People should enjoy it for sure. I was here because I heard that we had a cancellation and I was looking through my contract. And apparently, whenever we have a cancellation, I'm supposed to like fill in. So,
okay. So I'm just gonna go real quick.
No, I mean you're filling in too. I'm not. No.
He's got a co-host. He's got a co-host now. This is going to go rapidly downhill today, isn't it? Yeah.
No, if I accept that, it'll crash my shitty little potato. So I'll hold it down as the speaker.
Oh well, we've got Jacob in on his own profile
It'll work,
instead of
Finn.
SkyMonk.
You can do it.
I'm wondering if Jacob's left himself.
All right, here we go.
Oh, is he accepting? Yeah, I wonder if.
Fantastic.
I wonder if Jacob's left himself on the SkyMonks in the other one, so he doesn't look bad for leaving the spaces, right? Hey Jacob, you're on your own account, yeah, today?
He's like, dog, I can't talk. I'm on this other space right now.
Yeah, he's just hanging out.
Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, I was on the other space too.
Are you? It's like a sitcom when they're doing two dates at once, like running back and forth between the two tables.
Yeah, I'm trying to be in two space right now too. It's funny. Can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, but you still have the makeup on. You forgot to wipe the makeup off. It's okay though.
Yeah, you know. You have to do what you have to do.
You know that there could be decent spaces if they just removed Wabby, because honest to God, he's bloody dick sucking, ass licking, like attitude, behavior. The way he goes
Really?
makes me reach.
Whoa!
He's been a good host. I mean, I've enjoyed his spaces, but maybe I'm tripping, you know.
We'll sound clip him when Sunny came in last week. I mean, it's just cringe, Bbandz. It's absolute cringe. Oh, Sunny, man. Oh, you are the man. Dude, you've changed this entire ecosystem single-handedly. Man, can I please toss your salad? I tweeted straight out last week, like literally after Sunny came on, I'm like, please, can someone stop telling him to rim in public? Guys, rimming these devs in public, like Rama did on the community call last week, is just so fucking embarrassing. Like, it's really embarrassing yourselves, like, because all of us like see exactly what you're doing, but when you do it, you don't realize it, because you just see you and the dev, the fact you've got this ability to have this little connection. You crawl out your shell for the first time in your life and you get to speak to someone who actually does something with their life. And it's just fucking pathetic and makes me... And I've already told them on Loom Dart spaces. Like, think about Loom Dart when I went on and, Finn, we should chop that. There's a couple of chops we can do from the spaces in the last few weeks to just fucking embarrass people.
Listen to this guy. It's like you give him a couple shows and he's Steven Spielberg now trying to direct. Okay. You let me know where those chops and cuts should go, and I'll get it to the boys.
That one with Bobby and Sunny last week, we've got.
What was that, Chris? What was that, Chris? Oh, that's what he has to say about the whole thing. Okay.
Sounds like you're like yanking his tail. She's yanking his tail.
No, he's just hanging out. He hears Robo talking, and he's like, no, he's talking back.
Sounds like a Signal's cat.
That was pretty aggressive. Are you like overperforming for the camera now? Like you heard yourself in a song and now like you're trying to like oversell it? You heard him in that song. He's famous almost. He's two minutes away from being famous.
Hey, Bbandz, can I just say, what did Finn do to your show the other night? That is absolutely insane, that edited copyright. How cool is that? My goodness.
I don't want it to change. I really like it with the channel surfing and stuff. Like I don't know. I like the classic feel of it. I love this. I don't know. It just sounds.
You guys want some behind the scenes. So I went on to Splice because I was like, oh yeah, Splice will totally have what I need. And it wouldn't let you search until you like did the trial and made the account. So I was like, all right, fuck. So they got me. So I made the account and shit, and I go in and they didn't even have what I'd needed. And so I'm like, well, fuck, I already have the account. And so I started like looking through sounds and shit, and I found a bunch of that stuff. I was like, all right, I could maybe work with this, but it's not what I wanted. Like I was trying to get like a nice news pad, something like, Tom Brokaw, Dan Rather, kind of like to match the way you intro the show, because you intro it very like professional and call like a news anchor. So I was trying to find something to match that, but then that's
no, it was good. It was perfect.
It's cool though, right?
Yeah,
cool.
I love it. Sunnyside just came up. I was gonna say something, but I goddamn forgot. So I'll come back. I'll circle back. Hey, Sonny, how are you?
Hey, Bbandz, doing well. How about yourself?
Fantastic. I'm excited about the whole NFT NYC. I'm signing up for like everything and its mother, hoping like, I can get as much as I can and meet as many people as I can. I'm so excited.
Go, Bbandz. You're going to be there, right?
Yes.
Oh, I'll be there too, so I'll see everybody else.
We got to link up. We
Yeah,
got to link up. Sounds good. Sounds good.
yeah.
All right, Sunnyside. Are you going to be there?
So no, when are the dates? Because like now Lil Gaines mentioned everyone that was going. I was like, that sounds kind of fun.
12th. It's the 11th through the Saturday. So the 11th through the 15th, I think. And I'm going to be there from the 12th to the 15th. And Gaines, the same thing. So Gaines, Maria from Cosmos, and Bushido, we're all staying at the same hotel.
See, like, okay, I want to say like I'm going to think about it, but I have a feeling I'm going to be busy. But it's something that I would do as like a last minute thing. But I want to. I didn't know so many people were going.
I mean, but I'm not actually going to the like event. I'm going to the side events because I'm poor, The ones that say FREE on them. Those are the ones that I'm hanging out. I'm like, free, hook me up.
Listen, Bbandz, all you got to do is just hang out by the stage, wait for someone to flake out, and then just be like, yo, I can talk in front of people. Because that's not a trait a lot of, nerds possess. They get all like stage frighty and shit. But you get up there, you own that shit like Gaines did at Cosmoverse, you'll be in the in crowd in no time.
See, if we had funding, Bbandz, because you're part of the team, if RAC FM had get the funding we want, we'd have been paying for your first class ticket, darling. You'd have been going to all the events.
I literally, you know what really sucks? I have to drive 3 hours to get to the airport for a 1 hour flight. What kind of fucking bullshit is that? Just saying.
Oh, that's proper bullshit. That's fucking terrible, isn't it? Isn't that horseshit? 3 hour drive for a 1 hour flight. Give over, man. Nah.
And I was like, well, I mean, or drive 9 hours. So I'll just take the freaking 3 hours and the 1 hour.
Fuck that. Yeah. Hey, man, do you know something? When I lived in Bangkok, when I lived in the condo, right? From my condo to the airport in a taxi would take like 2 hours. But then I could fly like the length of fucking Thailand in like 1 hour. So it takes more time just to be able to fucking move around in my city than travel the entire breadth of the country. Right. Is AJ still in that? I know
okay,
AJ
so
sometimes comes in a bit later.
So he might be coming in a bit later. He knows about the space and everything. But right now, he's food shopping and stuff. You got to keep the missus happy, bro. Like, that is like the most important thing. You know what I mean? We want him to continue building with Space Skellies. We want her to be happy. So they're shopping for food right now. And then once he's done, hopefully he hops in. But I know he was in a space for an hour before then.
A man needs his carbohydrates, If a man's going to perform, he needs his carbohydrates. Keep him on the spaces, So,
hey,
yeah, guys.
Hey,
yes, Finn?
Hey, real quick, do me a favor. What's KOL stand for?
Key opinion leader.
Is that something you made up, or is that like a thing that I should know? And now I'm a pleb for asking.
I was thinking KOA, like the camping association shit, but like
killed on arrival. Yeah.
Okay. And the guys will tell you like that calls is like the industry standard. Like instead of using like a shiller or shillfluencer or some derogatory term like that, we use like a call key opinion leader within the industry. Correct. And when I selected IBC NFTs, these are the guys I felt like I wanted to speak to as our representative calls. Have you got a problem with that, Finn? Or are you ready?
No, I was just curious. I was just curious. I didn't know what it stood for. I would have spent the whole space trying to figure that shit out. So thank you.
Took me 4 hours on Google to find what KOL meant when I first got into crypto. I shouldn't even say that. When I first got into crypto, I had to go and like download like a dictionary like with WAGME and everything. And I was like, oh, all right, okay. So yeah, man, we've all been there, Finn. We've all been there. Don't worry. You rise above pleb status within a certain time frame, If you get off Terra Luna, that is. Right, guys, we never do the introductions like we do on the Friday show or whatever, but wherever you're on the world, good morning to you, good afternoon, good evening. We hope you're well. We have a little small crowd. There are some other spaces going on. So as they kind of finish, I do expect the crowd to filter in. Berserker said he would try to make it, but to be honest with you, He's chasing that Polygon money these days. He doesn't give a fuck about us. You heard EJ say, Scotland.
Hey, I don't. These spaces aren't on chain, so I mean, like, you could be on whatever chain you fucking want. Just pay me.
Correct. Well, we're going to get round to that. This week, I don't know about you lot, but we often start out with, like, you know, not necessarily the bad things of the week or the negative things, but we often start out, especially Sunnyside. Bbandz loves the controversy. However, I think this week is a bit of a week to celebrate. There just seems to be a lot of like positivity in the air, a lot of love in the air. Signal's just had another smash out collection. Bbandz releasing the game. Jacob's absolutely killing it with Atlas DAO, etc. And then Stargaze drop this one-on-one custom minter. I know there's plans for other stuff for Stargaze in regards to minters, and I really want you guys' opinions here. What difference, we'll start with Bbandz, obviously, since it's Stargaze related. Bbandz, how much of a big difference is this to Stargaze? When are we going to start to see the impact? Is it going to be a slow burner, or is it immediately going to have like a big impact? Will it be increase in volume? Does it just add more, like, you know, more kind of a bit of more armory to Stargaze? What are we looking at with this development there, Bbandz?
Yeah, absolutely. So specifically when it comes to the one-of-one minter, like, the main benefit of it is now for like a new creator to come into the space, you don't need to make a whole collection. It's a lot less investment, right? Like, you can make a single NFT, and like, we're going to have various auctions coming out soon. I think the timed auction is very close. And then the UI, the front end, there's going to be a way, some sort of like featured or trending looking tab for like one-of-one auctions and minters. So it's kind of giving more visibility to more projects. The entry cost is 250 stars versus 3,000 for a normal collection. So it really opens up the avenue for creators, or more specifically one-of-one artists, to dip their toes in the water and try out the platform without having to invest a ton right at the front. So that's kind of what I would view as the biggest benefit when it comes to the one-of-one minter, is more so now you can appeal to the Tezos crowd, the Manifold crowd, the super rare crowd. I would say that would be its like niche and its primary use case to begin with.
Brilliant, dude. I'm wondering if Signal, because we know that they've had like quite like niche collections before, small piece collections. I think we've had like a 50 or 175 and now a 10 or something in your collaboration. Signal, do you intend to leverage this in the future?
Yeah, I mean, we've already used it. We did 2 drops on Sunday, like it basically pretty quick after the one-on-one minter launched. I think it'll be useful in the beginning for that kind of thing if you're doing specialized drops. Like maybe you have a large collection and for some reason you wanted to do a small drop to people that have like, you wanted to drop like an item to people that maybe have, you know, a special trait that only affects 10 of those collection or something. I don't know. There'd be that kind of thing. Probably, I think it'll be used mostly in the beginning for people doing kind of like meme stuff because it's like low barrier to entry. And then for it to be really impactful on the volume and like a culture shift on Stargaze, I think that will depend on the launchpad auction thing getting online so that you can do a one-of-one and just release it like featured as something that people are bidding on the front page. Because right now you can mint a one-of-one to yourself and then you can put it up on auction to in the marketplace, but people aren't necessarily going to find that, right? So once that second piece comes in, I think that's when you'll see the most impact.
I can talk a little bit just from the past, like over the last year, we've seen that used a lot on Terra as far as collections utilizing the one-of-one minter on Talus to mint their like special pieces, right? So they'd have their regular collection candy box style, and then they would utilize that one-of-one minter to do their, like, here's one for the influencer and here's one for whatever, you know, like the special edition kind of stuff. And that Didn't really obviously generate a whole lot of volume, but what it did was allowed them to utilize that tool and get more people kind of, access to a one-off that's not going to necessarily interfere with the collection.
Yeah, and
Guys,
let's say, oh, go ahead.
no. Go on, finish off your point there, Signal.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and yeah, like let's say I've got a collection of 150, and maybe I want to drop I want to do some kind of challenge or game, some kind of trading based games, or maybe drop 10 pieces amongst them. You know what I mean? And maybe there's some kind of reward for whoever can collect 5 of them or something. I think it'll be used for that kind of thing immediately.
Yeah, just before we go to Jacob, I was just wondering, what you're talking about with the one-on-one artists. So if we can separate maybe artists, whether they be into painting or digital painting, and versus the people who take photographs, these really professional kind of photographers. I think I've seen someone like Tezos and that. Is the idea that if you can attract these special one-on-one artists that have got a bit of a name, that they'll bring the new up-and-coming artists or unheard of artists with them? Is there a domino effect, do we think?
Okay,
or not?
First, this is bugging me because I'm weird. One-on-one is basketball. One-of-one is what we're discussing here. So just want to clear that up. I'm sorry. It was fun. I'm sorry. I'm an asshole. I'm sorry.
Damn.
Just to speak on that, everyone just kind of asked, how do we bring more liquidity? How do we bring more liquidity? So on, so forth, and so on. The NFT space, we don't bring in new users. The amount of new users that we bring in, ETH doesn't matter, is very small. It's a lot of just stealing from other chains. That's just kind of how the space works. So these things are never going to have this immediate large impact. Obviously, if you have a marketing budget like Polygon, where you can just buy one of the top projects in the space and, do something like that, then yeah, you can market it. But anything that's not ETH, Sol, Polygon, or Cardano, you basically have to find a way to incentivize creators to move to your chain and kind of not really pull them away from their community, but you need to give them an opportunity to shine somewhere less crowded, somewhere where they can make a name for themselves, where they might get drowned out. So I think the one-of-one minter is an avenue to do that, and to a much larger extent, the open edition minter that's coming is going to be a bigger driver, because Polygon doesn't even have one of those as far as I know. And when it comes to who are we comparing against in Stargaze as a space, I mean, we're comparing to Polygon, that's no secret, right?
Why don't you just explain what you mean by that, the open edition minter, for anybody that might not be familiar?
Yeah, so an open edition minter is a single image that can be minted an unlimited amount of times within a time frame. The reason why that this is a huge driver, number one, it's very popular on other chains that do have it. So just that perception alone, creators that move to Polygon, creators in the Cosmos ecosystem, creators that know of us, they know this is a popular tool, and to be one of the first ones to use it on Stargaze, there will be a benefit to that. They absolutely will, because to be honest, it's free money because people want to check it out. The next thing about it too is that it's literally the lowest risk to enter into a new system where you do not introduce the concept of dilution into your collections. So you'll see a lot of projects that might worry about creating new collections, but they definitely will make a single image on an open edition minter because there's zero reason for them not to.
Jacob, you got any thoughts on the new minters coming to Stargaze?
Which one? The one that Sunny post about in the prop, or just the 101?
Either of them. Apparently, it's not. It's one of one, according to Finn. But and the open edition minter as well. Yeah, you got any thoughts, or you're not looked into it yet?
So why I'm not too much looking into it, because like our project doesn't necessarily require that. But I see in the long term, most likely maybe for gaming. But as of right now, I haven't seen any good gaming in crypto anyway. So that's just
I like the open
my
edition mints. I'm sorry. As a co-host, I just want to chime in. I like the open edition mints. Killer Bears had their open edition mints. Finn, why are you laughing at me? I think that it's a great idea, and it's also a smaller entry into, like, let's say there's a collection that's super expensive and stuff. When they have those open edition mints, it's a lower entry for people who couldn't afford, or miss the mint for the specific project. So I think it's cool too.
I wanted to make another comment on the 1under1 minter, which is that I think that for when you're doing a small release, like let's say 5 pieces or 10 pieces, it's really hard to like estimate the market and then set your mint price. It's much different than when there's like, I don't know, you're releasing 500, a collection of 500 or 1,000 or something. And when you have the 101 minter and you have the auction on Launchpad, that will be really cool because you'll be able to bring these artists that have like a really beautiful piece. It's put up for auction. They don't have to like try and set the price. And we just have an interesting immediate market force setting the price, right? All these people bidding on it. And I think that can actually be pretty exciting as well.
I think too, there's some cool use case there for chains that have DAOs set up, because then you can just mint like keys, like if somebody wants to join, they didn't get in on the collection, maybe you have bounties or some other way to like, jump them in basically. And you can just fire off a one-off and that's their key to get in, which is cool.
Wait, question. Sunny, is the free mint live already for Stargaze?
Freemint will go live. It's this week or next week. And when I say live, I think it means up to governance proposal. I think it will be up this week, but at the latest next week. So the Freemint will be there.
Right. Talking about free mints, since our last roundtable, there has been a new marketplace launched on IBC, particularly on a chain known as Huahua, or the Chihuahua chain. Let's go. I know some people had some fun with it. I'm just wondering, Jacob, Signal, and then Sunny, have you had a look at Emporium? I feel weird saying that name, but never mind. Have you had a look at Emporium, and did you grab a free mint, or have you traded over there, Jacob? Or what do you think of the interface, the UI?
Actually, the website, the UI look good. I'm not gonna lie, but I haven't traded anything yet on Empire yet. But I most likely will this week. Yeah, the UI look good. But what's the goal? What's the goal of the? I know you close with RAC and all. So what's the goal? Like the game plan with the platform?
The goal is that the Raccoon Empire have now got like a marketplace, NFT marketplace added to their resume, to their CV. This is always the goal.
Sorry, I think more than that, the goal is to do what Luke couldn't or didn't or whatever, and to create a cool community-owned marketplace there that there's a whole chain there. Like these guys spun that shit up in how long? Like I don't know. I don't want to keep talking shit about that, but I think that's really funny, and yeah, it's a great experience.
Isn't there a part of the Raccoon community that view Huahua as like our kind of incubator, our kind of like canary chain, and that if we want to go and push stuff on these other permissionless chains like Archway, etc., like we know that we can very, very quickly go over there and like deploy this code with like a little bit of tinkering. It's proof what it is, Jacob, for me, and what we agreed. And I know some people weren't happy about it, that they made the decision to put the prop up and do it. But let's be fair, right? How much of like we've learned, like how much have we leveraged? What have we lost? Zero. Like we've gained everything and we've lost nothing, and established like a bit of a name for like the raccoons that they can build like cool shit. Hopefully, I hope they're going to go and build stuff for Stargaze. I hope they, can go and build for like most people. As long as they can keep the lights on, that's all we care about, right? Signal, you must have had a look. Yeah.
Well, real quick, what were we talking about the other day when we can get ready to utilize these B assets in that way? Because we have B Wawa, B Whale, all that shit. So what happens when you have a marketplace now that accepts B assets so you can do your liquid staking and then actually like buy fucking NFTs with that shit? Like, I think that's pretty dope.
That's huge. The B Luna thing could be huge in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have
Well,
loved.
not even B Luna, just B assets. But yeah,
I would say I would have loved if they did do it also on Juno. That would be amazing. if the platform was on Juno too.
yeah. I mean, we have B Juno. Like, I don't see
Well,
any
not
reason why.
the RAC FM, the Empire NFT platform. I don't know. I feel like Juno would have been
You've got,
interest.
you've got 3 competitors on Juno already, and I mean they have got some good things about them, but they've also got some like negatives, haven't they? Like what is it? Hopers, Talus, and Loop. They're the 3, right? But yeah, I mean, go on, Jacob.
No, I'll say also there's another platform called MintDAO, but they're more like a multi-chain kind of thing.
Yeah, I forgot about those guys. You can mint onto Juno, but you can mint like Polygon, BSC, Ethereum, right? They're like a multi-chain kind of mint.
Yeah, it's just like an Axelar bridge, basically, just shuttling them around. If you want to like pay, $40 to move your wrecked wolf from fucking ETH to Polygon because you think it's worth it, then yeah, it's there.
Hey guys, I just want to let you know real quick. There's a tornado watch where EJ lives, so he's on high alert. He's going to try to hop in spaces as soon as he can.
Oh dear, he'd be down in the basement or something, won't he? Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if there was a tornado anywhere near where I live, like spaces would probably be the last fucking thing I'm worried about.
He cares about people.
Yeah, yes.
So this is an interesting one. We'll come over to Signal first because I think Bbandz is going to have some good comments on this. Signal, how much did you play around with the marketplace? Were you there for the launch? Did you grab anything?
Yeah, I was there on the launch. I was hanging out with you. You don't remember?
I do.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I minted a couple. Oh, it's okay. You said you got like shit-faced drunk later that night, right? I understand if you forgot about me.
Yeah, that's it. That's what happened.
Yeah. I minted on it. It runs really smooth. It was impressive. I think I've always been a supporter of those devs, Zap and Moltres, but I think it was like a UI improvement compared to some of the stuff they've built before, which I was really happy about. And overall, yeah, it's smooth. I don't really have anything to do with the Chihuahua ecosystem or like mess around with it at all, but I was it ran really well for a first launch. Looked great.
Yeah, I think they've managed to figure out a couple of front end things this time around, and that's been reflected in the update to Raccoon.bet that they've just updated this week, which is like pretty sharp, pretty smooth. I'm sure Finn's been on the slots again every day, putting all his dinner money. Is that right? Your lunch money in the slots, Finn? But that's had a big upgrade as well, hasn't it? Now this is going to be.
Oh yeah, it's been cool watching them progress. Like going from V1 and then from like that party we had with the first redistribution to where they're at now. Like it has been really cool. I don't want to like say too many good things about him because then he'll get a big head and they'll get lazy and stuff. But yeah, it's dope.
Right. Well, I've been keeping this for the last nearly 2 weeks, waiting for this conversation. So I do know that when it comes to NFT marketplaces, etc., and we've seen this on like several, even sites like say like Hubble sometimes struggling, to be able to keep up. But Sunnyside performance, I know that's been a big issue. Now, all I'm going to say is we're going on about the RAC Emporium. It's performing quite well, but like there's 4 collections on there. Stargaze is probably over 1,100-1,200. I mean, it was 1,000 I think a couple of months ago, right? It's probably over maybe 1,200 or something now. Having like 4 collections displayed on your website, right, and your front end's going to be a lot different to have to display 1,200 Sunnyside, right? There's trade-offs that I presume, yeah.
I can talk a little bit on. So I guess I don't know. Is the Huaha like an app chain?
Have you tried it yet? By the way, I don't think you will have. I didn't think so. I know you're way too busy. But you've never tried the new Raccoon Marketplace. It's not Raccoon. It's Huaha Marketplace. You know, under their brand. Yeah.
I'm checking it out. I like the way it looks.
Yeah, it's pretty smooth. Sunnyside, pretty smooth. Like when I was minting stuff like that, we had a couple of teething problems the first day because people were hammering it, but it's never blinked, you know. But that was my thing. I know the data's like stored like a kind of off chain, whatever, right? Or it's access. Sorry. Tell me though, the more collections you have on, does that impact like the performance? Yeah, is that correct?
I don't think so. This part goes a little bit over my head, and I honestly usually don't think it's worth mentioning because it doesn't matter. It just matters how the user experience is. But because like my understanding is because Stargaze is an app chain, there's 4 different moving pieces that all need to work together in order for the front end to work. And like, so when it takes a long time to make updates to the front end, it's because there's somebody doing stuff on constellations, Metabase, the front end. I think there's like back end, just general server stuff. And I think the explanation is this is not the case for most other marketplaces. And I think that is kind of the defining factor. But at the end of the day, no one cares, right? Either it works well or it doesn't. But just to give an explanation on that.
There's Bonzi. And I'll stick with you, Bonzi, right, for this one, yeah? This is quite an important one to me. What kind of people or artists or collections do you think might even consider like Huahua? I mean, is it a case that it's only going to attract like brand new people who are just getting in and looking for some like easy access or something, you know? Something not too complicated, something to hold their hand, you know, like the training wheels kind of thing? Or where do you think Emporium has a chance of fitting in the market? Because it's quite a weird one, isn't it, right now, yeah?
You guys actually have a super obvious and easy target to go for. Meta Huaha AAA. I would kind of be shocked if they would not mint on the Huaha chain.
Are you talking about?
I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm confused.
I'm just wondering if you're having a second collection or burning and minting, like burning and then reminting over there. Which one, dude? Second collection or burn and mint?
For triple, I'm gonna call them AAA. I'm bad with pronouncing that word. But do you mean for AAA? Like they are one of the first collections on almost every blockchain. Like they'll make a new collection. I don't know if they're interested, but with it being the dog chain, I would assume that they would go there.
Interesting. Very interesting. Because the thing that you've got to do, which Stargaze done exceptionally well, is you've got to try to build up some collections so that like people's got stuff to browse, right? No one's interested in coming to browse 4, 5, 6 collections. People want to browse 20, 25 collections, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, you know me. My whole thing with the Cosmos is everything that isn't Stargaze in an NFT marketplace shouldn't exist because it just fragments volume, and like that's my criticism. You know, even with RAC, the website looks great, but it's like, why do we need a 10th marketplace? But that said, you know, I reached out to RAC, and they're doing the open edition minter, so God bless their team because that is desperately needed. But yeah, I don't like the fragmentations of the markets, and I don't think that this is a situation where competition improves the product. I think it just makes it so we have a lot less volume and we get less attention because of it.
That's what we've been saying for ages, the liquidity spread, but that's a weird one because people tend to disagree with you. And I'm like, I don't even understand how there's a disagreement there. It's like,
no. Yeah, like cross-chain NFTs on Juno, on Luna, Terra. Like, why? Like, what do we need that for? There could be one that is permissionless. I will say that. You know, you have a
well, that's not very decentralized, though. Now, is it?
I'm not a fan of decentralization. Funny enough.
Me neither.
So, I mean, that's my hard take on it, though. Is just like we don't need more marketplaces. We need most of them to go away if we want the Cosmos system as a whole to do better. It's better if most of them fail versus most of them finding some form of initial success.
So, Sonny, do you think we should have any other marketplace in the Cosmos at all?
There should be one other one that is permissionless, but I think there should be two, and there doesn't need to be more than two.
Well, so that's better. I thought you said none, but
actually, Sonny, I kind of disagree a little bit where you say that like you don't buy it from the perspective of improving competition, just in the sense that like if there's more teams learning to build more things, I think that can bring some benefit. Like even if like who knows, maybe it just dies, who knows, right? Or isn't like true competition compared to other ones. I think that sort of like process of things being built all over the place will bring benefits competition-wise over time.
Here's my counter argument to it. Like all of Cosmos, it's roughly the same thing. So like right now you have the RAC team building a marketplace, right? But if we don't have, they're building a marketplace, we have people building, DAO tooling on Juno. And with like the developer royalty incentive, if you get rid of these, kind of like no name marketplaces, no offense, but then you get those developers looking to make money, and then they build on a platform worth building on, right? So,
right, but like how do the RAC guys get the qualifications to be able to like get a contract to build something cool for Stargaze if they haven't been able to do so somewhere else? You know what I mean?
Okay, that is a fair point. The one market that I'm thinking that would actually make sense to be like in competition, right, would have been Juno. So RAC in this situation matches up well with this. Because like I just recruited the RAC team to do the open edition for Stargaze. And that's kind of where it's like, they're working on this other thing, but I would love it if you guys could make this tooling over here on a spot with more volume, where realistically you'll probably make more money over time than trying to remake the wheel, if that makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, I just like it because it's like, okay, I know that this is an independent team that's not necessarily in the same clique that moves development forward on a lot of platforms. And like them being able to get some experience and then be able to contribute as a third party to other platforms, I think is a net benefit for the ecosystem, even if the Wawa versus Stargaze, whatever, doesn't matter at all. You know what I mean? Like not the platform competition is less relevant, but
no, and I'll defer. I don't know, whatever means I'm wrong. Like I'll choose that option because I did put up the open edition minters. I said, hey, they built minters on Huaha and stuff. So yeah, I'll stand down a bit on that like hard stance.
Dudes, we've already.
I think real quick. There's a good point there though, that like it is good that there's a whole spread of builders, but it's not so great if everyone's building the same thing. And I think we should try to like work on that a bit,
This is quite.
We can all sell Mary Kay makeup to each other, It's the same makeup. I know we're all friends and shit, but like I got my Mary Kay, I go over to Finn's house, I do like a little facial. I'm like, you want to buy my products? He's like, yes. Then he opens up one and he starts an Avon lady service. And then I'm like, you know what? He does a facial for me,
Holy moly. Do you know in England, that's one of the worst insults when you're a kid, right? When you're in like a junior school, I don't know what you would call it, like lower high school or something. Like if someone says, man, your father, like your dad sells Avon around the doors, like that's the biggest insult in history in Britain. Like that's a fight right there.
Whenever I hear Avon, I instantly think of Edward Scissorhands and that lady
Avon
going,
calling.
Avon, yeah, totally. All right.
The guy from the DAO guy, every time I listen to him, he reminds me of Edward Scissorhands. And when I see him on the thing, like he just has the hairstyle, the look, it's awesome.
Can somebody Photoshop that, please?
Guys, I'm glad you brought that up though, just while we're kind of shit talking a little bit, because we had that kind of internal struggle within the RAC community, you know. There was a strong element, a large proportion of us who were like, yeah, keep the lights on, go and build shit. We're not going anywhere. The casino's not going anywhere. But there was also quite a little contingent of people who were very prominent, people like Rama and that, who thought like raccoons should not be going doing it, that they should just be spending time focusing on their platform and nothing else, and shouldn't be off building marketplaces on other chains. So it's quite an interesting one how like industry guys see it different angles, but like even internally we were having like debates. But I'm glad they've done it, and like Signal says, they've got the proof in the pudding now that they can go to like other major players like Stargaze or be, you know, contacted by them, and they're like, yeah, dude, there's our track record, there's our resume, we can build that shit, you know. But Finn, Bbandz, before we move on, anything else on the RAC FM, the RAC NFT marketplace?
I had a smooth experience. I missed the mint because I got preoccupied, but I went, bought a couple. I had no issues or anything, so the Emporium is okay with me.
Yeah, I just want to shout out Bruce for sending me the one that I missed. I didn't realize there was like 3 or 4. I was one short, and then by the time I realized it was all gone. I was like, no! But then Bruce hooked it up. So, but yeah, super smooth, no like issues or anything. I mean, we weren't exactly like hammering it with Reddit traffic or anything, but you know, for what it was, worked great.
Right. Well, we've got Bbandz in here, and we haven't got EJ yet, but I know he's really busy. But I did have like something for the Skellies that was quite like big. I wanted to mention. I know we talked about their ordinals the last time, but there's actually something I want to talk about, or you know, brush over a little bit. Maybe we'll see. But I also want to big up the games and the advancements as well that's kicking off. We're not normally here to shill the project, but I think we're at pivotal moments in some of these projects and the recent landmarks they've had. I think it's worth mentioning, and these guys come on every week, every fortnight. So I want to make sure that they get some like airtime a little bit a day just to talk about their successes and challenges, you know. Right, Bbandz, can you speak on behalf of Skellies at the minute or not? Diplomatically, of course.
Oh, sure. I mean, what exactly? There's so much going on right now, and I've spent the entire day in spaces. So,
it's a simple one for you. I'm a simple man.
Okay, go ahead.
Have you seen any attitudes like change towards you guys, like internally within the like great IBC community, or within the Stargaze community or anything, since you guys have obviously announced your transition over to Polygon? I know it's getting close right now, and like when you left, I think you're still going to leave. Is it Space Doodles that you guys are going to leave still on chain on Stargaze? Like, we're
going to leave the Space Doodles on Stargaze. Yeah. Yes.
Main project being transitioned over completely. Have you noticed any kind of like, I don't know, changing attitudes towards you or response times if you're DMing people, or has there been any, you know, change in the wind, would you say?
I haven't noticed anything, but maybe I'm not as cool as EJ. So I haven't had any issues or felt like the only thing like, I think people just had some questions on what would happen if they didn't send their Skellies over. But I haven't felt any weirdness or like people like not responding or kind of ignoring me. And if they are, maybe I'm just not paying attention. I don't know. But
all right, you hear that, guys? You hear that, everyone? We got to lay it on just a little bit thicker. Not too much. We don't want to be aggressive like Robo, but just a little bit thicker.
Yeah, I've been ignoring you, Bbandz, but you've never messaged me anyway, so you just didn't know.
Signal, listen, you sent me that message, right? And I took that message and I went to the top of the food chain. I gave the message to the food chain, and it's in processing right now. So I can't like put that stuff out. So I gave it to the powers that be. But you know what I mean. Much love. Kisses.
And I mean, calm down, Signal. Most of us can't even afford one of your pieces. So let's calm down.
Oh, wait a minute. I still have one. Wait, I need to go look at that. No, I'm sorry.
Oh, you didn't.
But yes,
you didn't flip it. Bbandz, you didn't flip it for a 7.5x like Zaki Manian, no?
No.
Okay. That's
Like
interesting.
there's so much projects and so many things going on. Like there's not enough time to be like flipping and shit. Like I feel like depending on the situation, like I'm probably not going to be flipping NFTs like too fast, just because there's too much going on. Like, and there's another project, and I'm already minting something else or checking out another project before I have time to go and look at this project to go and flip it. Does that sound terribly lazy? Maybe, but I'm just like exhausted. This is an exhausting place,
And this is the bear market. Like, wait till shit fucking pumps again. Holy shit.
Like I said, so I am buying some stuff and just kind of Ethereum NFTs and Polygon NFTs and Cosmos NFTs, just buying it, we'll see what, shoot in the dark and see what happens. I mean.
So, can we get back on topic then, can we? Just because enough Finn's here and he's Bbandz. Bbandz is the one always telling us to get back on topic all the time. I love it.
I didn't know what you, like, I haven't felt any animosity or any issues.
Good. That's exactly
what
I
do you want,
to
Robo? You want like names? What what are you fishing for here?
DM and stuff, and he was like yelling at me, and he said like, "How dare I leave Stargaze?" And I was like, "It wasn't my decision, but I'm for it." And then he just insulted me, and then he poo-pooed, and then my husband had to get involved and tell him to shut up, because I didn't want to block him because I'm a nice person. No, I'm just playing. That's not what happened. But
and the probing, the leading questions, I was lining everything up, and then you two's just ruined it. I mean, I wish Joe was here today. My goodness me.
You're right. Welcome.
Then, thanks. Well, I just wanted to slip in to Sunnyside and say, look, Bonzi, some blue chips are leaving. We've already had the leaving conversation and how people's got to do what's best for that project, but internally, and you don't have to answer this though, is it a bit of a knock for the confidence on Stargaze, and are they going to come out fighting, do you think, with a lot more tools and stuff, especially in relation to game stuff and whether it's burning mint stuff or whatever?
Well, real quick to interrupt, they're not leaving for those reasons. Nobody's leaving because the tooling on fucking Polygon is better. They're leaving because of liquidity. That's literally it. And maybe some sweet Disney money, perhaps.
Right. I would not say that's
No. But go ahead, Sonny.
Okay. So I'm going to skip past that part. Fuck. Sorry. What was the question?
He was saying that, has anybody been bugging you? Because you guys are going to Polygon, has there been any animosity, any issues, people sending you DMs fuck you, why are you doing this kind of thing?
And that was you about Stargaze now. I'm saying a Stargaze, are they planning on coming out fighting? Are they worried? Are they not bothered? How does Stargaze feel about losing some projects?
Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah, so I can talk on that. So I used to not be super aggressive in the team chat. I don't know, I'm bottom of the totem pole. I've been pretty vocal since the move and stuff, trying to get stuff through. The kind of mentality right now, I would say, is the fact that, we'd rather have them here, right? But what we're kind of looking at, and my personal opinion is, we don't want to see anyone complain or fighting on Twitter. And I'm saying that even though I'm picking some of those fights, but I'm kind of fighting for my own project right now. I'm fighting for my own team, right? But they don't want to see a ton of backlash from users against their communities, because projects are free to launch. Multi-chain. It's supposed to be what Cosmos is about. Polygon and Bbandz. You can give me your hard take on this. You don't have to give me the conservative one, but I've been listening into the Polygon spaces. There's more liquidity, but the projects over there, it's send 50 messages and you might get a whitelist. This guy's going to tell you about how much ROI you can make off of his crappy project he built off Upwork. The projects are straight garbage over there. I don't mind this at all, and I don't think the projects that are, moving one collection over to Polygon, I don't think everything is permanent. I think projects have to put a face on because they have to fight for what they're currently going for. And I think what you're seeing right now in Stargaze is that, I mean, there's a fire under the team's ass. I don't, it's hard to keep up with it all, but like, they do like a few more community spaces. We're showing like a few more extra special spaces for like Cosmo Coin Flip to show support. We reduced the launchpad fees. Tokenomics are being discussed right now in the team chat right now. We're going to have a space on that this week to address that. We're bringing the open edition minter over. The splits contract went live. Free minters going live. A lot of these things that were issues before are getting improved. So what I look at it is right now, the move is for projects to move to where there's liquidity, where there's a ton of rug projects over there, and they kind of get to be this like shining knight. They get to find new community members and liquidity. Then they have a 1 to 3 month cooldown where they're not going to mint a collection. And I bet a lot of them come back to Stargaze when there's a lot more tooling, the website's responsive, and then a lot of the users in Polygon are sick and tired of like the painful process to get whitelist over there from all the rugs. And now you can see a big pull from Polygon back to Stargaze. So initially, like I was like worried about it, but like the more I listen into these Polygon spaces and the teams over there, like Matic Man and Edwin, like they're great. Don't get me wrong, they're great. They got the right people hopping in spaces, but like the projects, I'm just not impressed by at all. And I think they're going to wear out a lot of their users. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. And, things have been shipping quicker since that happened. So that's kind of like my brief take on it.
Do you think the Polygon hype's dying down a little bit, Sunnyside? Because there's a few indicators, isn't there, that like the initial hype of like Bbandz and Utes, yeah, moving over, like people are saying that that's starting to die down a little bit.
I don't know if I would say like died down, but as soon as that hype came, it didn't just bring projects from Stargaze, it brought projects from a lot of places. So you're seeing this massive influx of projects come into this space where there was very little community to begin with. A lot of them are, not very little, but it's more fragmented than I think it would like to be known. So it's like you have all these projects now fighting for the spot and they're all trying to like launch. The best of the best will see success. But I think the medium and smaller guys who think they're going to make a buck over on Polygon are going to be like absolutely crushed when they realize like that's not going to be how it works unless you have a team that's on spaces and interacting day in and day out with others.
Yeah, well,
you got to be a serious Chad for Polygon. That's all I'm saying.
You've got the perfect opportunity. You've got a hell of a brand behind you. You've got a good following. You've got like solid team. You've got your games and everything. You've got, your roadmap. Like if anyone's going to do it, Skellies are going to do it, Finn? You still there, Finn? Or you're asleep?
Yep.
Any opinion on your Polygon? Because I know you've been chasing that Polygon money for a while, right?
Nope. Y'all know my opinion on it.
Which is what?
Which is check out polygonspaces.com. Maybe one day it'll redirect to something funny.
Oh my God, here we go. This guy. He's bought every domain that there is.
I don't know who it was, and all of my spaces get mixed together, but there was somebody that said about Polygon, kind of like the same thing that Sunny was saying, that people are just going there to look for liquidity and stuff like that. And I agree. I don't disagree because like when you get into those spaces, they're all hyping each other. They're all trying to like, collab and represent each other and trying to make a name for themselves. So I can see why you feel that. There are a lot of good projects out there, but all of the noise drowns them out. And there is a lot of noise. You know what I mean? So I think once the noise dies down and all that stuff has been kind of sussed out, because people are going to get exhausted. They're not going to want to do that. You know what I mean? And then eventually the projects that are there for the long run, might take a while, but they'll be like noticed. But maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like there's a good possibility for that. Oh my gosh, EJ, hallelujah.
in the house, Mr. EJ. Let's hope he hasn't got like hurricane sounds in the background and like articulated trucks like flying through his driveway. Hope you're all right, EJ, yeah?
Wow, your cat's
Letting my cat
so.
say hi.
Oh my God, I love it.
Let him say hi.
I'm going to go and sit in the garden now, EJ, so he likes the birds on the morning in my garden. You normally don't get to hear it because I'm always on Spaces at night, right?
Mhm.
I did have like a big thing that I wanted to mention today. And I don't know if it's right or if it's wrong or if it's just fun or what you people think, but these fucking meme NFTs. So we've now got like what the fourth iteration of these meme NFTs or whatever with Don's face. Why am I seeing Don's face on people's PFPs? I've had to start like unfollowing people that's got this fucking meme NFT face. What's going on? I mean,
We all copy each other. We all copy each other. Like, come on. We all copy each other. One of us comes up with an idea and the other one's like, yo, that sounds cool. Let me try that shit. And then we all support each other. That's kind of like, I don't know, right, Saber? What do you think?
Next is Don Chin.
Hey, EJ, how are you this evening? Hope the hurricane hasn't tornado or bad weather gotten to you.
Yeah, it's actually kind of bad weather. Just kind of in and out right now. Trying to take care of everyone in case the storm gets any worse. But watching the news, got 60-mile-an-hour wind, got 1-inch hail size. So it's a little interesting.
And the fact that you're in the space is representing. And that is why I say El Presidente, but whatever.
Well, let's find out what EJ thinks about these meme NFT projects. I mean, we could go back and talk about things like Joe. There's been like several others. EJ, we've now got Don. I think it was like only 10 pieces or 20 pieces, whatever, at like 10K pop or something. Was it something Bbandz? What was it? Or 1K pop, right? I didn't even know this had happened. It had like gone on, minted out. It was a thing before I knew. EJ, do you think that this is good for the industry? Do you think this meme stuff is healthy for NFTs? We've seen it in coins. What about NFTs?
I mean, I think it takes a little bit of everything to make the world go round. So there's nothing wrong with it as long as it doesn't get too out of hand. But you got to keep it fun, just as anything in general. So if that's what keeps people in the community, why not? Everyone knows the risk. Well, they should. When they're getting into meme coins, meme NFTs, you just got to keep it fun. But yeah, that's my kind of 2 cents on that. You just got to also just have your eyes open. You can't be a dummy. You just common sense has to kick in at some point.
Can if I can speak to that for a second, you're talking about that limited, like the 10-piece one, or just like the little? It's like simple cartoons of Don's face, different colors.
That's the one. That's the one.
Well, I mean, that was made by Cosmograph, right? Who's like a very serious graphic designer in this space. He's the guy that we collabed with on our last collection. And and then like his first collection is this very like minimalist icon style art. He's a very like sort of straight-laced artist in this space. So I mean, if a guy like that wants to do a little meme on the side, I think it's perfectly healthy.
Also, do you want to ask EJ the question that you had asked me?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it was the warm-up. EJ, we didn't know if you were, with like the weather situation, if you were going to attend or not. And I just said to Bbandz, I think you guys are like 3 days away from your move. That's obviously open to people if they want to, of course. You've left that choice open. But like, have you seen any distinct changes in like attitude, EJ, towards you guys since the move or as it's got closer, or even things like response times to emails or messages? Have you noticed any change, or is everything like it was before you announced the move?
If we're just going to be the complaint, it's just, that's all I am is the truth. As far as certain people in the community of Cosmos, yeah, they've turned negative because they're, whatever reason, they turn negative. In regards to Stargaze has now responded more. Shocker. And I don't know. I just think people don't understand that, like, once you sit down, you talk to the team, they realize like, okay, this could actually be good for Stargaze. because once we start to network and other projects are networking to multiple chains, they start building networks with all these other chains, and they bring liquidity to Stargaze or wherever, because we've already helped people, and we don't tweet this out because we don't need to, but the amount of people we've helped set up Kepler wallets that literally made fun of Stargaze are now buying NFTs on Stargaze. And they aren't just buying Skellies, they're buying other projects. So yeah, at first, definitely was a lot of pushback. Like people didn't understand, but also I don't know if people understood, like it wasn't, you don't have to bridge. Like I don't know if people knew that at first. So maybe that was on us. But in regards to, information, on Polygon side, those guys have been super responsive. They have more funding, they have bigger teams. So that's kind of to be expected, I guess. So nothing negative. And as far as communities on Polygon, we have just an unreal amount of sub communities we're in, like high end sub communities. And a lot of investors are just waiting to purchase on Polygon because they've never heard of Stargaze. So our whole goal in the end is, everyone talks about interoperability, but like how long is that until it actually happens? So what can we do in the meantime? We can go where there's more network. We can go where there's liquidity. We can go where we can build. And in return, we can diversify and build more foundation for the project. So like when one pillar gets knocked out, the whole building doesn't collapse. Terra, like if we didn't learn from Terra, then no, like we shouldn't be around, right? Like that's just would be dumb if we were on one chain. And we love everyone on Stargaze, but I also think this has allowed people to open up their, like push them out of their bubbles. Some people, that's fine. If they don't want to be in the project, all you have to do is sell your NFT. That's the greatest thing. You can just get rid of your NFTs and then go invest in a new project. So I don't really I've never understood like negativity in anything with NFTs, because like if you don't agree with the decision, just sell your NFTs and go to a different project, or be like a human and maybe ask questions, and then maybe we can see from a different angle that the way you're coming from, hey, you know what, we didn't look at it from that angle. We really appreciate you sitting down and talking with us. That is how you build a project. That's how you build a brand that can be something that lasts forever, when people start putting in the input instead of FUD. Because like we always tell people, I tell my employees, if you got a problem, try to bring a solution to the table. Like when you don't just start complaining about a situation, try to build a solution to it, and we'll listen. And that comes into Web3 as well. Like if projects aren't willing to listen, they'll fail sooner or later. That's just kind of how it works. But yeah.
Before we begin, just a quick check for the room. Have you guys, I know this has happened to other projects, are you guys going to be on, is it Magic Eden or One Planet you're going to be on? Which one?
Yeah, so sorry, Bbandz, I see your hand up. So when you
exclusive.
Sorry?
The question, sorry, AJ, was have you signed I'm not too sure which marketplace you'll be on, but I know that the Rec Gang, they had to sign like a 6-month exclusive agreement, right?
An exclusivity agreement. That is because, okay, so when we went to One Planet back, a lot of people don't even know, we were on One Planet. We were voted the most anticipated collection to launch on Polygon back in the day. One Planet took 6.5 months to get anything done. We just got tired of waiting. So we went to Stargaze, thanks to the help of TSAS and people like Bbandz. Bbandz been like the glue of everything, to be honest. Like I told him a long time ago, if it wasn't for him, like I'm not trying to like pat him on the back and give him a hug, but like literally if I ever meet the dude, I'm just gonna I might fall in love with him. I don't know. He's just been so great. And in regards to where are we going to launch or where are we going to list? So when you deploy a contract on Polygon, OpenSea can instantly pick that up. So instantly we'll be able to be tradable on OpenSea. And then I'm speaking with Cav from Magic Eden, and you're correct. There's parts of the contract you're like, no, like that. So we've been having to go back and forth on some of the contract. When you fill out the launchpad information, for instance, you use a lot of the same information that you use on on OpenSea. So all of our contracts and the metadata and information that's provided on OpenSea, when we fill out that information on Magic Eden, you're using a lot of the same information. So the APIs on OpenSea are incredible, but a lot of the liquidity, I guess, in Magic Eden has pretty good marketing. But then you got One Planet, right? Like One Planet's the one that's kind of in the background that most people don't talk about. One Planet was the actual launchpad that did the KYC for Polygon Labs, meaning the Polygon blockchain. So when people applied for a grant, for instance, you went to One Planet's team and you did we're full KYC, passports, driver's license, addresses, everything. They did full KYC on all of us if we wanted grants from Polygon. So Polygon, from One Planet, I'm sorry. But if on One Planet, I look at One Planet, I was like, it's a little bit safer. There's a little bit, they really do their due diligence on projects. I haven't seen one yet, and I don't think I ever will see a rug on One Planet because they're a genuine team. They're from South Korea, a great engine. Like they're very well spoken. They're very smart. They build really well. Maybe they don't build at the speed we like them to, but they're not as good on the marketing side like Magic Eden is. So then you got to kind of play in the middle. Where do you go? What do you do? But those are the three main platforms. You got OpenSea, and then we'll be launched on listed on Magic Eden, and we'll be listed on One Planet. So actually, YS from One Planet reached out to me today, so we can get that set up when Friday comes. It can be instantly tradable on OpenSea and then One Planet, and then Magic Eden as well. But hopefully that kind of gives you a little bit of what kind of happens behind the scenes if anyone's ever curious how that all works.
Okay, I did want to comment real quick on the One Planet team. I always struggle to get Edwin to interact with me. I feel like he never wants to interact with me when I try to. I just do it on general Discords and kind of mess with him. Just because it's like two separate teams, right? But no, I wish you were here earlier for the little rant I went off on. Not rant, but like spiel I went off on about how...
You should repeat it.
No, you're good. Keep going. Bbandz. Yeah, okay. We're good.
I'll do the short version, which is essentially that I think right now, like you see a lot of projects like moving from one spot to another, but projects can't always talk about the long term because you need to focus on what's next. So it's kind of hard to communicate the longer term plan without making everyone mad in the process. And it's just kind of like, I don't know what like is going to happen, but like once, like the next collection, Polygon, like everyone is going to be looking at Polygon and you're focused on Polygon. And then in a few months, right, like there's this like reset timer where, okay, what's the next move? And then that's kind of the part where I think that, there's potential there and it can't always be talked about all the time. And also the fact that no one knows really what Stargaze is. So anytime it's coming from Stargaze and going somewhere else, more people are hearing about Stargaze, whereas everyone in Stargaze already knows about Polygon, right? So like it inherently is a marketing tool for Stargaze, even if it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, and I agree. Like, like today we had a spaces with just the Stargaze collections to introduce them into the Polygon ecosystem and big, we bring in some larger projects and just great people. And in regards to your comment with Edwin, if you do need to get a hold of Edwin, message him on Telegram. He's one of those guys. He's in and out of the Discords mainly. So if you do actually want to talk with him, he's kind of like you. He's like the glue of a lot of things. So he would love to probably sit down and talk with you. I would be more than happy to get you guys connected. But yeah, it is very, and you got to be willing to pivot as a project. A lot of people are like set on one chain. That's it. Like this is gung ho. This is life. This is everything. We're the best. And if we didn't, like I said, if we didn't learn anything as projects that did come from Terra, like I just one person said, "Oh yeah, that's because they all came from Terra." And I'm like, okay, the way you said it was negative, but the way you should have said it was positively, because the reason we came from Terra was because we got destroyed. And the reason it's not going to happen again is because we're aware of it. And you're exactly right. When we're looking at one play after the other, what's next? What's next? What's next? We knew sooner or later Polygon was going to have to be in the books. We did. And a lot of our community knew that. We put the vote up, guys. It was over 80% of people wanted to move to Polygon. It's not like we chose. We put the vote up. It wasn't even a close vote. In our larger channels with whales at whole 30 or more, it was 100% to 0. So we got a lot of feedback for the communities. And it's very interesting to see people, like some of the responses you get. They just don't see both sides of the coin. And like you said, it is hard long term. And if you've never ran a project, you can't really, people are like, I've been in the spaces for years. I'm like, oh, cool. That's like pat on the back to you. Have you ever ran a project 24 hours a day, every day for years? No. So don't act like you have. And don't act like everything we do and every comment that we hear doesn't put a toll on us. It doesn't give us anxiety, doesn't stress us out, doesn't ruin our day, doesn't make our day. Like all this is taken into consideration when you're running a large scale project. And, we hear everything. We choose not to respond to a lot of it if it's negative, because we just don't need it. Like we just don't, guys. It's like, I sometimes I wish I could reach to the screen and just slap somebody, but like, dude, stop. Just why? If you want to talk, just talk to me. If you want to talk to somebody, just message them. Like you don't need to go around acting like a 2-year-old on Twitter. You can just message a person. We're all here and we're very accessible. But I will say one of the biggest and best things about Stargaze, if anyone's ever listening to something, Stargaze is a place where you can really get to know people. Not even if you're going to launch a project. Like if you just want to get a part of a chain and get into some Twitter spaces, this is the place to go. And, you sit here and listen to Robo. Like I listen to him in the mornings, and it's just a great way to start to talk to people. And we have our shows, and I think through that process, you can kind of start to see what chain are you comfortable on. It doesn't even have to be Stars. It doesn't have to be Polygon. It can be somewhere else, but I could go on all day about it. It just comes down to you got to be willing to make pivots and changes for a project if that arises, because every decision we make is for what we feel is the best of the project. Like that's the bottom line.
I'll go first too real quick. So, and just to recap, let me know if I'm wrong. But like kind of the end dream is building like an arcade, right? That's what you guys are aiming for, right?
Exactly. That's correct.
Yeah. And just for anyone listening, the gaming projects in particular, they have a much, much higher incentive to go cross-chain than anyone else because you need a player base. Like, I don't think there's realistically very many, if any, projects at all that can be a single chain and do gaming and be starting now, not in the bull run, and actually make it. Like the biggest concern for us is our player base, which is like why I moved up iPhone support to be done in April instead of putting it off later. It's one of the reasons that we redid the whole way that we do our NFT integration was so it could work for multiple chains. Projects that want to be a game, they need to be cross-chain and they need to pick up new community as they go. A PFP project, art only, most utilities, doesn't matter. They can get by with one chain. The gaming space, if you ever go to the Reddit and go to r/gamedev, it is a graveyard of failed projects and people who have spent like years of their lives trying to build something and it never comes to life because they can get no one to play their game. So like that's one aspect that I feel like hasn't been mentioned, but the gaming ones need to be cross-chain.
Yeah, I agree. It's just like Fortnite. Fortnite's not just on Xbox. They have they make it so you can play cross-platform for a reason. And then everyone's like, "Man, the PC players are way too good," right? That's what everyone says. But you're 100% right. It's all about the user base. And what is it like? Fortnite does over like $5 billion in V-Bucks of an in-game DApp currency that you don't actually own that token or that skin or anything. I mean, imagine if you can tap into just 0.00% of however many zeros you need to add just to get a little bit of that. And there's extremely amazing gaming projects out there that are VC backed, and some that aren't VC backed. They put just blood and sweat into this, and they're probably so deep in debt they don't even want to look. They just have so much passion. And we've tried to learn and navigate through the waters of what has worked and what hasn't. And we're going to mess up. Absolutely, we will. One day it'll happen. But we want to do it where we don't have limits, like on Polygon. And then from there, who knows where we go? Imagine, put it this way. What if we brought our whole community, like what if we minted a collection, sold out $100,000, $200,000 worth of a collection, and then we moved a collection to Stargaze? I bet you all would be completely different mindset then, because your bags would start getting pumped. So we got to keep the long-term mindset open of how we can create a base of a community, and then how can we layer it with gaming, staking, and community and events and whatever we need to do it. I think that's just what we really need to focus on long term. Sorry, Signal.
Hey, man. I was going to make a point a little earlier. I mean, it's just general. I've been saying this from the beginning, like with projects moving to Polygon and stuff. It's like the projects have the freedom and actually like the responsibility to do what they feel is best for their holders. And that's like moving, sometimes that's moving platform to platform or splitting between them or whatever. And that's just going to happen. So from the perspective of like the Stargaze community, the only thing you can do is try and manage that as best as possible and maximize the opportunities you might get from a project like yours, going to Polygon, potentially like introducing new people to Stargaze or bringing people back here if you come back at some point. And also, like, I use the analogy, it's not a perfect analogy, but it's like if you have like sports clubs and like sometimes you have players that are like, develop in one and then move to another. It still like improves the reputation of that first club because it's like, oh, this is like a cool play, or this is like a good breeding ground for success, and maybe that would bring people here. Maybe people come here looking for other gems. They want to get into whatever the next Skellies is before it moves somewhere else, or this kind of thing, right? So there's all these like opportunities, and I think that's just the way that people have to look at it. I also want to say, if you ever want to slap someone, EJ, I'm here.
I love it. Yeah, I'll make sure of that. Are you going to New York NFT? Are you going to the event?
No, I won't be. No,
okay.
And even if he wasn't, I would not slap him.
Okay, I was going to ask. We could. Okay, that's it. You picked up what I was putting down. But yeah, I think that long term people will understand what our vision is and what we're doing. It's okay if you don't. It's okay if you just want to wait for long term and see what it actually plays out as. You have every right to sell an NFT, buy an NFT, completely, you leave a community. You don't have to stay where you don't want to be. That's like the greatest thing, right? You just change your environment. And I think I know we have built already amazing features on Polygon, and we're happy to release them because then we're going to be able to see what we can do full scale and then how we can do that on Stargaze. And I know Bbandz has been creating things as well for his gaming, and I'm excited to really just relay off one of each other because we both use the same dev. And I think, as I said,
we did do that, EJ. We did talk about how we wanted to highlight the projects, particularly because several like pivotal moments had like really good recent success. That was something I did mention earlier very distinctly. I was like, guys, before we finish, we're definitely going to get like all the plugs in. We don't normally do it, but like this week it's important for everybody. I want to just ask you guys very quickly. I was talking to Noah from DAO in the Discord chat, right? In the DMs, yeah, about like the functions that are going to be implemented in regards to like minting, etc., minting functions on with DAO. And kind of the way he was talking about a lot of like the bulk mints and stuff like this, right? And like several other things that are missing distinctly from DAO in regards to NFTs. And like, he was kind of saying that it's all just going to be based on like outposts, just like Stargaze. You guys are going to be waiting for, say, liquidity, say coming from White Whale or something like that, right? Or through Gravedigger, right? What do you guys think about these? Are you scared, AJ, that you might jump ship and then these outposts might like just change the landscape forever? And also, Bonzi, what do you think? Do you think like Stargaze's future is dependent on having a liquidity outpost, like a DeFi outpost, and maybe access to something like an outpost through Juno, DAO tooling? It seems to be right now to me that this is going to be the savior, if there's going to be one, the many issues that we talk about regarding liquidity, et cetera, right? So AJ, are you scared? Go on, Bonzi.
So my hard take on this is that outposts are a developer's wet dream and the community will not care or use it that much. That's my personal prediction.
But does this not give you like access to like quality DAO tooling overnight? Like,
unless the process is the exact same as it is today, if it adds me going to 1 to 2 more websites, I'm never doing it. I'm not confident that this is going to be a seamless process. I think it's going to add steps. If they can implement it in a way where it changes nothing from today to tomorrow, then it could have success.
Yeah, based on the last time I talked with Jake, he told me it would be kind of like the same way as Stargaze. So you don't have to do anything. Your NFTs on Juno, just list it on Stargaze. And as for the DAO tooling for Outposts, it'll just be like a normal wallet, kind of since the way that work. And you just make a prop and boom, and everything is listed on Stargaze. So I feel like that can also for like project that want DAO, they can just do it like that instead of just because one now on Juno we don't have like a big NFT scene, so that also opened the liquidity, I guess, for people to list on Juno. I don't know. Just like there's a lot of DAO going on Juno right now, but we lack the fun stuff that Stargaze have for the most part. So if those DAO, like this community in Juno, are able to like, I want to swap anything I want on Stargaze and I want to access that liquidity, I feel like it'll be super. It'll be in volume for both sides, I think.
If it's seamless, I can see it happening. I just don't have faith in it being seamless. And that's just kind of based off of like seeing everything that's been built so far. Like we've heard about Chain NFTs now, like, for over a year. If they get it right, I can see it being successful, but I see it adding extra steps. And as soon as extra steps are involved, I think that's a problem.
Yeah, I think you.
Sorry, Jake. I'm just thinking about like the reverse though, like from the Juno side. Like for example, when I go in to whichever wallet I'm on, my own private or the hot wallet for the treasury, whatever. Like I can go in, I can see the Stargaze NFTs on DAO already, right? Surely, like if I can go in and I can view them and stuff like that, why wouldn't I be able to say like, I don't know, change a price or be able to list one, or like if I can already go and view them now, why couldn't I interact with them like through DAO? And then why can't you like interact through DAO like automatically through Stargaze through an interface? Like,
no, and if it works, I will say it will have an effect and it will be very positive. I'm just saying, based on what I've seen technology-wise, and this stuff is above my head, I'm just not confident that it's going to be super seamless. But if it is, I think it'll be huge.
I think because of Jake's involvement in Stargaze and obviously the Cosm connection, et cetera, I think that DAO is being built with like Stargaze in the back of his mind in regards to integrations. I think that's the one that he's probably talked about the most is like the Stargaze outpost, like Juno outpost, Stargaze outpost, like the combination there's ridiculous. I don't know. I just think those two things are a match made in heaven.
I wanted to make another point that's like a little bit, I don't know, this is a little bit less tangible, but I feel like when you are looking at NFT culture in Cosmos, like Cosmos itself does have a decent amount of liquidity across it, but it's not spread well, and there's very little in the spaces where there are NFTs. If you have outposts like Stargaze outposts coming to these chains that where maybe people don't like, I don't know, where people just sort of care about NFTs less. This is maybe just a conspiracy theory on my side, but I feel like there's a lot of people in Cosmos that like take themselves really seriously and like don't really like NFTs that much. And then if you have outposts going to all these different chains, it might create more excitement within the ecosystem of these people that are like on the fence that don't necessarily put that much money into them. So that's like another kind of intangible culture thing that I am excited about with the outposts.
And also, what Sonny said, it's correct. If they're able to do it right, it will be huge. But if there's a lot of extra step, it might not have the same impact as we think.
I feel like EJ probably knows this off the top of his head, but do you like know what % of users like you lose for each click that needs to happen in a process?
I do not know that off the top of my head. I do know, like you said, if it's more than 2 clicks, you lose, I think it's like 60% of engagement. So I don't know how many users that equivalates to. And based off of, you know, if you're a high-end project and you're making someone click 3 times versus a project that is not as high-end, however you want to quote unquote that. But that's, if you make people click more, like I don't mess with DAO. It's just like, for me, this goes for like, so a lot of the groups were, and this is just straight facts, a lot of the groups are part of like the Utes and those people. They don't care about this stuff. That's not where the liquidity comes from. So first, another question was like, you know, we're not abandoning Stargaze. Like someone, I think you said that, Robo. Like, you don't have to bridge your NFTs. So secondly, I don't think 1 or 2, and this goes back to the Cosmos ecosystem. Like the same projects that are bringing this liquidity with Backbone Labs and stuff are the same exact founders that Cosmos was dogging on and saying is terrible just a few months ago. But now, since the story has changed where it can quote unquote pump their bags a bit if it goes smoothly, the story is different. So we're not going to Polygon, you know, to just get away from Stargaze. That's not why we're going there. We're going there to expand and to network and to continue to grow the brand. I don't know what's going to happen with Stargaze. I've told Bbandz from day one, what in the hell are we going to do to get liquidity and start? I've been preaching it from day one to the Stargaze team. You guys got to market. Your marketing is shit. Like, it's terrible. No one's going to come to Stargaze if you guys can't figure out how to market. It doesn't matter what tools you build if you don't have a community. And so the bottom line is, if you don't bring users in, it doesn't matter what you can build and the tools and this and that, no one's going to come. And that's what scares me, because Stargaze is amazing. If you're a founder and you're using the tools on the back end, like Stargaze Studio, they're incredible. But this is the things we have to look at. Like, this is the data, and the data doesn't lie. So these are concerns. I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is I'm glad Bbandz has the Stargaze Twitter handle now, and he'll be able to do some more spaces and hopefully network and bring in new users.
And then, so I'm going to sidestep the marketing question, but a little bit. But like, we do have like White Whale, their contracts getting deployed. This part, ETA, I'm not sure on, but they're going to enable, most likely going to enable mints and multiple tokens. So, you know, that sell pressure from creators who usually need to, you know, sell their profits. Now it might not be in stars, could help, you know. One of the props post-launch I'm going to look at is to reduce marketplace fees from 2% to 1%. Still keep burn at 100%, but then remove the amount that goes back to stakers, which is negligible. And then we have a call this week on tokenomics, and there's a internal group chat right now. I'm pushing to make this happen ASAP. There's like 6 people in it, so it might get muddy. The original plan seemed like it would be, I shouldn't go that far into it, but we're trying to push through tokenomics changes now that should reward stakers more than it currently does. Open or free mint should be this week or next week. Open edition minter should be 1 month. So we're trying to bring things that make it a lower barrier to entry for creators to come in. So none of this is direct marketing, but stuff that should be appealing and increase trading volume in the short term.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. There's like, once again, creating, and you and I know, like, those are tools that we wanted. God knows how long we asked for those tools, and yeah, like, anyways, at the end of the day, White Whale's great, everything's great, and Backbone Labs, those guys work with us, like JG and all those guys, so we love what they're doing. But at the end of the day, where's the marketing? Like, what are we doing on the marketing for Juno or Stargaze or whoever? How are you bringing in new users? That's the question. And is it you bring in more, you find a way to provide liquid and that brings users in? Maybe. Or do you have to reel in some high-end projects that will bring in users? I don't know. There's no right answer and there's no wrong answer. You just have to experiment with what's going to work and what won't. And I think that's what we're about to find out. And I'm happy. Like, the best thing is that you are finally seeing changes. The bottom line, like, that's what you're seeing. And it's good to hear tokenomics. I know even Robo and some of these guys, I've been in their spaces where they've talked about the tokenomics. It's been a concern. It's been out there for a long time, but now they're talking about it. So I hope things continue to change. I hope they continue to listen. And I think if you listen, you really can't go wrong. I think they're going to end up building a great market. But it's going to come down to, how do you make that appealing to a new user? That's always my concern. And for me, it was community. When I came in, it's me having access to the community of project founders. And then you, like, literally, it was you that helped me through everything. So as long as you guys can continue to provide that for new people, I think it's, like you said, a low entry barrier. It makes it less scary as a founder, and it makes it less confusing on what to do, because you guys literally hold hands through the whole process. And I think if you can somehow wrap that into like a marketing package and market it that way, that is how you bring in new projects. That is how you bring in new users. That's just my perspective of it, because of how I felt through the whole process.
Yeah, and that, we've started to have more team support now for, like, at least the featured projects, and we're looking at like smaller things too, like, hey, do we add like an informal calendar that's subject to change, where, like, smaller creators can like promote their own work and have it visible in the Discord, a few things like that. And then, we've talked about the idea of like open edition minter and then doing like raffles, and then we take a small amount from the community pool to buy like an ETH popular NFT or Polygon popular NFT and raffle it off if, they mint on Stargaze. So ideas like that, I know they're not like perfected by any means, but like they've been thrown around, and I'm really just holding off on doing any controversial governance proposals until a few weeks after the collection launch, just so people don't get mad at me.
Yeah, like they did for the validator for a week, and then everyone's fine now. They had their feelings hurt. But what Bbandz was saying is, we had an idea that him and I were spitting back and forth, was to raffle off with an open edition minter every NFT you purchase. Like, let's just say it's $3. The NFT would be, let's just say it's, I don't know, you could say it's a lower end project, not lower end, but what's that one just came out? Dead Pixels. Like, let's say it's Dead Pixels on HBAR. You raffle off one of those. I think I don't know what the floor price is, and it was like $200-$300. Okay, so then through all that process, people are purchasing tickets. You do a live raffle. This is for Stargaze. Like, this is a way to market, right? And I'm trying to help. So people that don't think we're trying to help Stargaze, you can go talk to a wall because I don't want to listen. The thing is that we said for those profits and those proceeds you make from the Dead Pixels, then go buy maybe something higher, like on ETH. And then from there, do the same process. And what if you worked your way up to where you were marketing off a mutant ape? Who knows? These are just ideas we were throwing back and forth, because then you start bringing in the big bag holders. Maybe you bring in 100 people and only 3 of them stay. But people who are bidding on mutant apes, they're not buying $10 NFTs. They're buying $5,000 to $10,000 NFTs. When they find a market they feel like they can come in and just ape into, it's like candy for them. So this was just like a marketing idea we kind of went through. And there's a lot of marketing ideas that I bounce off of Bbandz all the time to try to help. And yeah, I think the open edition minter, if you don't know what that is, it's just an unlimited amount of mints. There's no limit. It's not a 5,000 cap, not a 10,000. You could have 20 NFTs mint, or you could have 20,000 NFTs mint. And then you can gamify it. You could say, okay, everyone that minted, burn 3 of your open edition NFTs, and now you get volume 2, or you get a new NFT that's airdropped by a new collection coming to Stargaze. And then you continue to bring in all these new users. But anyways, these are whole things that we really do try to help. And I think that is a great feature that people do love. Open edition minters are that they still are really used widely in ETH. I know that for a fact. But anyways, yeah, that's kind of some things that go in and out, and I'm just happy to see the tokenomics are being discussed. And I'm sure the conversations will be pulling on some heartstrings, but it needs to happen.
I sincerely wish you and the team mind all the best for Friday. Fingers crossed you guys will smash it. Everything will go well. It's going to be very interesting to follow the journey. Been a big Skelly fan for a while. So, guys, I'm looking at the time and I'm thinking, this was the show where we were like, hey, there's been a lot happening with your project. We've heard quite a bit there so far. But Signal, mate, you guys dropped another collection. Well, not another collection, but a kind of like exclusive one. Obviously, small pieces, small collection. It sold out straight away. And then people noticed some on-chain activity. Certain people owning certain Stargaze names, like flipping your NFTs for like from 10 grand to 75 grand, like in a very short space of time, but high profile, prominent devs right through the entire Cosmos ecosystem, responsible for a lot of the stack. Did you get a surprise, Signal?
Yeah, I mean, it was a surprise because I didn't know anything about it until you mentioned it. I saw you tweeting. I don't know. I guess if it's. Oh, they didn't sell it. I think they just listed it. But I think, yeah, Zachy owns one, which is kind of cool, but I think he's trying to dump it. I don't think he's been successful yet. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's actually him, but it's the name for sure. Yeah, that's cool. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm saying you did a good collection, yeah? Like, people were impressed, right?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. We put a lot of work into it between ourselves and Cosmograph. We'll continue to do those. We're trying to work on kind of filling a niche of like limited art pieces that like take quite a bit of work, that are like, they're very large pieces that can be printed out, put on your wall, that kind of thing. And that's basically what we're trying to do. I'm actually really excited for some of the features we've been talking about here, like an open mint, because for a project like ours, we've never been interested in doing a large profile pic collection. It's not something we want to do. But we have a challenge because we we don't get that like distribution community wise of people owning NFTs, right? And like we don't want it to just be a few people that that own really like quite expensive ones or whatever. So it's kind of cool. I'm looking forward to maybe putting out something that's like an interesting piece that can maybe be minted by a lot of people down the road. The other thing I wanted to mention, Sunnyside, how long have you been in charge of the Twitter account?
I got access. I'm not in charge, but I got access 2 days ago. I haven't had time to mess around with it, but like starting next week, I'm going to start getting more on it. This is just like our week. I've had like a million to do.
Oh, yeah, because I was just seeing like the top 5 things, and then we're not tagged, so it's like right there, but no credit for our project.
So right away, organic tweets. Like you will not see organic tweets from me. I might do quote tweets, but I'm trying not to like overstep on that. I'm mostly going to be doing comments and quote tweets.
Yeah, no, I'm just joking around. But yeah, we were really happy with our mint, and then we did a drop. Like those are like big pieces, not profile pics. But what we did is like we then remixed a bunch of elements of them into these nice profile picture pieces and nice banner pieces. And then we dropped those to everyone. So it was like a 10-piece thing that turned into a 30-piece thing. I know Brasco's listed. You can see Brasco. He's got the brand Robo. God bless him. He's wearing all our stuff for a little while until he switches back to RAC. Yeah, it was a fun week for us.
He's insane. His love for signals unbridled, man. RAC's is just his part-time little hobby, Signals his full-time love, right?
Well, our love for him too, because like with our token, we always gave it out. Like the only way that we distributed it basically is for people solving the puzzles or contributing community art. So we've been, he's been creating like all these GIFs for like a full year and all this like really cool community art, but we've always been rewarding him for it. So, I mean, we're big fans of Mr. Brasco as well.
Well, what he's been doing recently, I mean, this is obviously NFTs, it's art, blah, blah, right? I'm not going to blow our own trumpet, but we're kind of in this mad, unique situation because he's like a really good animator. And obviously you've seen like Bbandz and his drawings, and like he's got this real like cartoon like style, like we've talked about like newspaper cartoon style or whatever. And then Brasco's been like animating like his stuff, like the one with the whale that he did. I mean, the original like Kujira whale with the rack on its back, that was good. Really, really cool and on point. And like Bbandz captures the moment in time, right? Like unbelievably well. And then Brasco's taking these things and like he's animating them, and these kids are just like feeding off one another, Like you see their creative juices in the Discord every day. We just stand back and just go like, wow, like we're just in admiration of them, dude,
No, absolutely. And he is awesome. I'll reply to it with like a little GIF he made out of like the PC bot from our collection. It's like it's a cool kind of iteration of it. So I really and his process is interesting. He does everything in Photoshop like frame by frame. He's not using like, as far as I understand, not using a bunch of like Adobe After Effects or anything. It's this like a very anyways, on to the next project. Yeah. Right.
The big, I mean, Sunnyside, I've noticed absolutely a barrage of tweets, even though he's like, I'll not be around much for the next couple of weeks. And he's like updating every update. You seem to be extremely proud, Sunnyside, of getting where you guys have got today. I get a sense of like every time I hear you speak about your project, or I read your tweets, or I hear you on other spaces, there's this definite like sense of pride and achievement bursting out of every seam. Would you say that's the case, or are you just fucking relieved?
No, definitely the pride thing. The biggest point I always say is like, I have dozens of messages that like of people that said like we couldn't do it. So it's not even really more so like, obviously it's about the success, but it's more of just like saying and showing that like we could do it. Cause like, everyone looked at our art initially and was like, who the hell are these guys? And I mean, we're going to be the first game that's NFT enabled in the cosmos that is on an app store. I don't think that's debatable. I know, Skellies, you guys have the spaceship game, but I don't think it has NFTs. And there's a few other games around, but none of them are on the App Store. And this is not, and this one I take pride in a lot. I do. It's not a Fiverr project. Like, we use a team from Upwork, but it's a completely unique game that is essentially not one of the ones that's easily replicated. So no, I take a ton of pride in this, and we're so excited to like actually be able to release it. And, you know, fingers crossed that there's no like networking issues or anything like that on launch. But that's kind of the benefit of having iOS support come at the end of the month. That way, if there are issues, it's with like a smaller user base, and then we can hopefully have that figured out by the time we come out with iPhone support at the end of April.
Oh, this fucking mute button's getting stuck now. Jesus, I hate when that happens. Bro, fucking hell, the mute button's put me off there.
No, you know what it is? It's like you have to clean your phone, so your mute button must be a little dirty. Just wipe the screen every once in a while when you get a chance.
I'm on the tablet, darling. Yeah, dude, I like the fact that like you've gone like the mobile route. You probably knew this was like key to like success. We've been talking about this for a long time. You got to be launching on mobile, man. Literally first stop should be bloody mobile, right?
Yep. We did Google Play first because we all have Androids. Originally, we were going to do probably sound and single player first. But then, you know, just because like we looked around and I asked for a quote. So single player, the quote was $3,500 to get that in. The quote for iOS support from our current version was $2,000, which is roughly 2 weeks or a little bit longer. And we're like, well, let's like put the other ideas on hold. It's not going to be like the final version of the product. Everything's going to keep developing after release. But we're like, let's get iOS and Android support there right away and just, you know, make this actually easy to reach for everyone.
And have you been talking to other teams that's been launching on mobile? Have you been talking to anybody? Have you been trying to get any, or like, are the guys working with you? Have they already done like launches previously?
The guys working with us I interviewed over 10 different like teams from Upwork and Fiverr, and like, you know, I landed on the best, who I thought was the best one. They're very capable in terms of like working with other projects. EJ is probably the one I've spitballed the most with in terms of like, you know, how are you guys doing this? Like, what are your concerns with this? Stuff like that. But like we we figured it out as we went. I have no background in game development. One of the things that I like to pride myself on is I'm really good at understanding things from other people's point of views. Like I don't do game development, but I have a good grasp on what is difficult to do and what is feasible. So a lot of it is just based on that.
And Jacob, did you guys launched on mobile, didn't you? Yeah.
What do you mean? Like,
No, it wasn't you guys, was it?
For what?
You guys didn't launch on mobile, like a game on mobile. No. I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about the.
No, we don't have a game.
No, dude, I'm thinking of the dude from the Dragons, not you guys. Anyway, right, guys, we're going to close it out. We're nearly at the 2 hour mark. Finn's like, remember the time, Robo, keep it tight. EJ, before we kick off, what about yourself? Have you got anything that you want to say finally about your project, like before we head off into the sunset today?
Nothing that we haven't covered. We got migration on Friday. If you have Skellies, you can migrate them. The bridge it'll be live. You can migrate right away. You can migrate in 5 months from now if you choose to. Staking is already live on mainnet, so you'll be able to migrate first 1,000 NFTs staked. It is hard staking. We're not doing soft staking anymore. It is hard staking. So then you'll be able to migrate the first 1,000, get boosters. And then that occurs Starlace, which acts as V-Bucks, and I won't go into depth on that. If you want to stop into our Discord, you can learn about it. And then from there, if you have any questions, just open a support ticket. and we'll walk you through it. We also have Medium articles that are written up that you can read along the process step by step, if that helps you. Or like we said, just open a ticket, ask questions before you bridge, because it'll just make more issues on the back end. And that's really it. We could talk all day about the projects, but most importantly, just migration on Friday. If you're going to migrate, great. If not, great. But we're here to help. We're here to help you.
DJ, very quickly to add to that, what surprised me last night, I think Bbandz will agree here, was Bruce Bbandz, when he came out of nowhere and he's like, right, well, what am I supposed to do with like me Skellies and me elixirs? Like, and you were like, whoa, wait a minute, what have you got? Like, what have you done? And you were like, well, I can tell you were probably like, Bruce, come on, have you not been paying attention now? Listen, maybe there are other Bruces out there that do own the assets and maybe might need like a little bit of, I don't know, Twitter threads, I think, are good, but I think sometimes a little short, like informational space or something can be more effective. Like maybe before Friday, people need to realize what they're doing with these like elixirs. You know, are they going to move? Like,
maybe like a live thing on Discord, EJ. Like, you know, like,
or maybe like the 4 spaces we've already had this week. So,
I know,
but yeah,
my
like
bad. But I'm just thinking, yeah, and then we can record it, and then you can watch EJ like go through.
You mean like a click through process, which that's what Brendarius is doing. He's doing screenshot by screenshot to show people how to bridge. Like you'll see the next screen and click.
All right,
but yeah, no, I agree.
Okay.
I agree. It's some people don't know, and someone asked about like if you do have elixirs, because that was something. Who I forget his name. He mentioned it this morning. Elixirs still get airdropped on Stargaze. So Stargaze holders still get the edge. If you migrate all your NFTs to Polygon, you still get them airdropped on Stargaze. How that happens is we have a relayer when you migrate your Skellies. In the memo, you put your MetaMask address. Then your MetaMask and Stargaze address are forever bonded together, and we can monitor that. So if you sell, let's say, 10 Skellies on Polygon, you would now receive 5 less elixirs on the next drop. But this gives the Stargaze community a little bit of an edge on the Polygon people, because they also are the only ones that can burn for spaceships, because you can still burn for spaceships on Stargaze. And then in about a week or so, we will allow you to migrate your spaceship and elixirs. But as of now, the elixirs and spaceships, no stress. We're focusing on the OGs. Continue to do as normal on Stargaze. Don't worry about elixirs resetting or anything. It's just going to be purely as normal. And hopefully that kind of, if you have that question, that hopefully that helps answer that. Sorry, Bonzi.
Last thing, space, pre-mints on days.
Is his mic cutting in and out for you or just me?
Yeah.
Yes, he went robotic for a second.
Yeah, definitely robotic. But yeah, Bbandz, while he fixes his mic, last night I got a bit of a shock with Brucey. I thought he would have been ready, lined up, but like that goes to show the other Bruceys lying around out there that you might want to sweep up, you know, into the dustpan and brush, you know.
I was like, really, dude? Like, you sent me a message and you're like, can you co-host? And I'm like, yo, right, I'll drop everything and I'll come and co-host with you, Bruceman. And you can't even know what's going on.
It's completely fine. And that's one reason we're leaving the bridge open, because if you miss it or you're a month later, like, it's all good. You can still migrate or you don't have to. And some people won't. They're going to play both sides of the coin and say, okay, I'm going to leave some on Stargaze. I'm going to put some on Polygon.
The doodles staying the doodles are staying on Stargaze. I mean, the doodles are awesome.
I mean, everything is technically staying on Stargaze. You can just migrate as you wish. You know, some holders may not migrate anything. And if they have 50, 100, 200 Skellies, then those would forever stay on Stargaze. And we're not going to force them to migrate them.
Nobody's twisting your arm or nothing, which is awesome. Listen, I got Sunnyside Reapers. He sent me a message after he went robotic for a second. He said, free mint live in 3 days. Is what I was going to say.
He's right asking about, was that Hero? Is that who's doing that?
He said free mint in live in 3 days is what I was gonna say in free minter on Stargaze.
Oh,
Free minter on Stargaze. Oh man, I'm down
read
horrendous
101.
right now. No, he sent me another message. He spelled it wrong and then he corrected himself.
Okay.
Free minter on Stargaze live in 3 days is what I was gonna say.
Perfect. Awesome. That would be really nice. Because if you guys want to sell your free mints, even if you airdrop them to a friend, they have to get stars and learn how to get stars. Well, unless you send them stars also, if they want to sell it. So hopefully this helps bring in some new users. You won't know till you try.
We're trying to tie in our listenership with the soulbound ones at the moment. So we just did our first ever NFT drop at the weekend. EJ, we dropped like 312, like a one of one exclusive in relation to like a particular show that Bbandz did. But yeah, we had 312. Well, we had more sign up, but there was incorrect addresses. Somehow we airdropped like through Omniflix, like just minted directly into their wallets. Yeah, 312 in one transaction, man. It was lovely and smooth. The experience was insanely good. But yeah, the soulbound, and you've got to collect 10 of 10. You've got to collect it, guys. That's the first one. There will be another 9. Make sure you catch them all, right? But EJ, for us, like little plebs, it was a proud moment, you know.
I appreciate you, and sorry I was late. Storms were not the greatest, so thank you, and I hope the best. I know what time is it for you? Is it morning?
Oh, dude, it's just gone 10. Yeah, the time difference has changed, so this show's now like 8 or 10 for me, which is lovely.
Gotcha. Well, enjoy your day. It's almost afternoon. Hopefully it's not 60-mile-an-hour wind outside, and you can actually go outside and do something.
It's about 37 degrees, bro. Absolutely scorch you today. You wouldn't believe it. Oh, Jacob's got his hand up. Yeah, Jacob, put your hand up there.
Oh, I was gonna say, so before end. So for a project, Skymonk Atlas that we're working into, we're launching a collection on Juno. And yeah, so the collection is technically Cosmos first generative music NFTs. You can stake it. In the future, you'll be able to earn. Not the NFT doesn't earn you rewards. So I like to say the DAO is the one who will be earning your reward by staking it. And also one thing we're trying to do for NFTs, it's backed by 30 Juno. So all the details are on my bio and stuff. So if anybody's listening, want to check us out, and you have any questions, just let me know. And it's pretty cool too. So it's on Juno. I don't know if it's gonna be successful, so that it's not a guarantee that it will be a success story. So when I'm just launching it, I'm gonna keep building, and I kind of like what Dada is doing. So that's the goal. And when Skellies Interchannel NFT go live or something like that, so you can also bridge it on Skellies and trade and all that. Yeah, so I'm pretty excited about it. There's a lot of things going on that side, so just check out Twitter, pin tweet, all the information should be there. So there's a lot of perk, a lot of feature with the NFTs. And I'm just with AG. So I'm looking forward to the bridge. I have a couple of Skellies, but I'm not involved. I don't really say that, but yeah, so I think I want to do like half or something like that. But
Jacob, you definitely need to document your adventures with obviously DAO and Atlas DAO, because I've seen you in the Discord like chat constantly, like asking about this and about this. Like you've learned like a hell of a lot, like probably more than many, about DAO construction and how to really like put this together. Maybe you need to document some of this for the rest of us players that are trying to like catch up on what's going on.
Maybe I should do that. For DAO, there's too much thing you can do. It's like so overwhelmed. It's like there's a lot of things.
I've just woke up to a new interface this morning. So Bbandz, I've just put a new prop up to recognise my sub DAO right under RAC FM, but they've got like a new interface when you click on like a prop. Yeah, you've got that new. It's really really slick now. You don't have to scroll up and down that massive section.
What do you mean? You're talking about the side section that's like been blocked off to me and I can't use it?
No, if you just go to our DAO, like if you go to our DAO and you just click like make proposal, and you'll see like the new menu. There's only like about 6 items. Wait a minute, I'll tell you in a second. Put it this way, that's going to drop. Noah said there's some unbelievable stuff dropping really soon. Some proper cool stuff, like proper cool stuff coming from the back end. Put it that way. They just don't want to stop. Now we've got payroll. I mean, payroll and investing is really, really good, yeah.
Robo, if we don't rap, I'm going to be sleeping on the couch.
Yo, I'm dying, yo. Like straight up. Like I have literally been in spaces since like 8 a.m. this morning.
Yeah, guys, go out the new actions and you'll be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. They just keep improving it and it looks really nice. So I'm happy about that. Yeah, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 sections instead of like, I don't know, 22. Right, guys. Again, we've had some of Pepe is missing. I think Pepe is still maybe on the late shift or the night shift or whatever. Berserker said he might be able to struggle, and Mull told me a couple of weeks ago he couldn't make the day. But for the guys that are here, I never worry about those that are not here. Bbandz, Queen Bee from the block, the hostess with the mostess. Yeah, thank you very much, darling.
It's my pleasure, and I love hanging out with you guys. I love being in this space.
Oh, the NFT Roundtable.
I love my people.
I love everybody here. I'm excited for next week to meet some cosmonauts. So. Wait, is AJ gonna be there?
Who?
AJ.
Oh, EJ.
EJ. Oh my God.
No, like he is not going to be there because he's being whack, but it's okay. I forgive him. No, just like he can't go. But
hey, send me that money back. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, just messing with you. Okay, yeah. No, I won't be there, but Bbandz will be representing.
I wish he would. Yeah, he's gonna send me some merch, so I don't know when he's gonna send it, but he said he's sending it, so get that.
Now we got the full address, so we're good now. I'm gonna have to come.
Now, like kidding. I said it like.
I'm just kidding.
I know.
Sorry, Robo.
Okay, my bad.
We need to think about Signal's spine tonight. You know, he can't be on the couch with that cat. Come on, Signal. As always, dude, if the have your own Signal, yeah, make sure you're back in 2 weeks for us, right?
Of course. No, I'm always here, man. It's really great to chat with all of you. I'm always learning a lot. I'm like learning a ton every time we do these spaces. So thanks, guys.
No worries, dude. No worries at all. And Sunnyside, best of luck. We'll be following the progress. We'll wish you all the best for the coming weeks and any challenges you face, yeah. So take care, man.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
And EJ and Bbandz, love you as loads, like a brother and a sister. Brother from another mother that I didn't know. Anyway, take care. And I see little Risby down there at the bottom. Oh, my goodness. If you haven't been on Gelato and bought yourself some raffle tickets for these NFT raffles, you're missing out. Telling you that's where the action is right now for some cheeky free NFTs if you're playing the game, yeah. But guys, take care and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you so much for the people that have been in attendance.
It's the RAC show coming from the RAC store. With this back in the Mac in the back flow. Let's go, chillin' with raccoons by the back door. Take calls so you can stake more. All I wanna do is making dough, right? But I found this crew and doing alright. We wreck will bitch, ready to fight. So many raccoons ready for the boss life. I might fly high like a kite, right? But always ready for a shite for the right price. Raccoon supply has the right price. Giving you respect if it's likewise. So I'm buying all the mean guys with the clean heart. Read between lines, laser beam through lean eyes. Larry or with clean lies, trash mouth, mean smile, be wise. NFT wise, fuck with these guys. It's the RAC rap from the back lab. 100 NFTs in my backpack. Crazy RAC rap from the stash app. RAC will take a lead in this haystack. It's the RAC rap from the back lab. 100 NFTs in my backpack. Crazy RAC back from the stash app. RAC will take a lead in this haystack. Blast that RAC rap from the stash app. Supplying the raccoons with a headbang rap. RAC gang with the RAC will slang like a trash can. Hoodie with fangs and a gold chain. It's either RAC will or the red pill. Best chill while we get into the first meal. Best feel, best devs with the best skill. No shill, all real, secret is a great deal. RAC will insane, chain. Shane better stand fast. Robo shooting his tweets with straight facts. Knowledge from the street with the best plan yet. Winston gotta eat if you retweet that. Free alpha life feed from the base camp. McKenna always ready if you dare that. Buying all raccoons for his rare stash. Trash panda biker gang motherfucking hashtag. It's the rack lab from the back lab. 100 NFTs in my backpack. Crazy rack lab from the stash app. Rack will take a lead in this haystack. It's the rack lab from the back lab. 100 NFTs in my backpack. Crazy rack back from the stash app. Rack will take a lead in this haystack.
All these motherfuckers, they be running and gunning, and I'm more like I'm sitting back and having fun in the sun. And I'm like 1 out of 100, I'm just building up on it. To sum of everything we built during the last 100 upsets. You getting salty, feeling faulty, you ain't no man. I keep Robo here, grinning ear to ear, throwing up anarchy, smoking up all trees, spitting philosophies. Look at the dossier, we rack like geology. This lays to this shit like it's sedimentary. All these little onion peels getting torn off and buried. Imagine the smell, that shit is a vital experience. Without knowing how, you will not survive, period.
He's a fucking trip, man.
Jimmy, if you listen to this, right, you're getting absolutely fucking ripped to death, like on a spaces, fucking live, you little troglodyte bastard. I hope you fucking listen, I hope you come to my house, son. I swear to God, man, I've got fucking loads of weapons and mad dogs, man. You just a little laugh, man. Go on, fuck off, man. Do one. Harmony. You another one, you're looking for a fucking job. You fucking idiot. You've just been fucking at the death. Fuck off.
Try to change the course of the portion philosophy. I'm just here for the corporation sponsor lobotomy. Feels like I won the lottery, like I'm ghosting this pottery. Chill, Demi, more the shit's supposed to be haunting. If it wasn't, ain't no puzzle. You would try to train your muscle, looking like a more fatal hustle. But the pay is bustin'. Think of all the lots of crew just to pick apart the tricky custom. I figured all that velocity, it would make up for something. Guess it just goes to show, the fuck do I know? Lisa's quiet over here, I like my little silo. It's better than watching a fight over how to divide my time between sitting at the desk and the ride home. I be planting down roots wherever we at. I got the seeds for the herb garden, you can relax. I got no need for a fence, I grow my greenery dance. I like my scenery thick, picture perfect panoramic.
It's really funny to us at Bbandz that everyone here is talking about blockchain attack. We know who all the validators are, we know where they live, and we're going to their house with a wrench, a big wrench, and we will attack them with the wrench, and then we will take their validator node physically and put it in a truck and drive it to China.
Right, so this is an extension of the activity you performed on BTC, right? Funding and creating these massive Bitcoin mines, putting them in caves, putting them in factories that were abandoned in the past, and also using electromagnetic pulse bombs to detonate the USA and the other country mines, right? So you're now applying this strategy to luck in order to take over the chain, is that correct?
It's more simple. There's no EMP bomb. It's just a van of men in balaclava, and they have wrench, and they're taking the physical validators from people's houses.
Right, and would you say that most validators are run by skinny pussy boys, and the fact that they're run by skinny pussy boys helps you to conduct this operation?
Yes, that is definitely true. They're usually stoned, they are usually very fat, and they're usually in the shower with trying to wash their mice droppings off their clothes. So it's very simple. We just walk in and we take it. But if there's someone who is sitting at the computer or sleeping at the computer, we hit them with the wrench really, really hard. And then they say, stop, don't do that again. And we say, that's okay. Just give us your validator node. And then they give it to us and we drive it to China.
TerraSpaces.